Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Wormpal, the coach of the Stavanger Vikingvolts, and welcome back to week 7 of the UDN. This week we are playing against Jazz, who is the coach of the Nevada Nidokings. So please go check out his YouTube channel. His link can be found in the description of this video. Last week we lost against Edgar. I recommend you to go check out that battle if you haven't already. But hopefully we can go back to winning again with this week. But Jazz's team, you can see it on the right of the screen. He has a Hoopa Unbound, Gliscor, Ribombee, Empoleon, Cryogonal, Kecleon, Mega Charizard X, Clefable, Breloom, Quillfish, and Electrode. A really scary team with so many really scary wall breakers in Hoopa Unbound and Mega Charizard X. There are so few switch-ins to those in the entire game, if any at all. It's not a single good counter to Hoopa Unbound in the entire game, I think. And yeah, as you can see on the screen here, we have a new member to the team, Masquerain. We picked up this last week in a trade with the Starfish. He offered to trade me his Masquerain for my Audino. And at first I didn't really want to lose my Wish Passer because I thought that could be very useful for some of my Pokemon like Seismitoad and Rotom Heat and maybe Uxie, that none of those get any good forms of recovery. So I thought Audino would be a very good partner for them, but that's really the only thing I will ever use Audino for, since I already have 2 other Heal Bellers in Mega Diancie and Uxie, and I have so many other both physical and special walls, and Audino doesn't resist anything, so I don't really have any reason to run Audino over one of my other defensive mons like Tangrowth or Seismitoad, for example. Only thing would be for the Wish, but I think I can live without that, and Masquerain helps my team quite a lot also. The main thing about this Masquerain is of course Sticky Webs, which is very useful for some of my Pokemon like Mega Diancie or Mienshao. Both of those benefit a lot from Sticky Webs. And this also gives me a second Intimidator, which is also very nice. So yeah, I think it was a very good trade, and Starfish needed Audino more than I did, so it was a good trade for both of us. So I'm actually pretty happy I got this. As you can see, we are bringing Masquerain this week. Focus Sash, Intimidate with the moves Sticky Web, Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, and Air Slash. The main job of this Masquerain is of course to set up webs, because if I can slow down his Ribombee and his Electrode, Mega Diancie just outspeeds everything. And as I will talk about when I get to Mega Diancie, it has such a good matchup this week, and with webs it can just win if he doesn't have like hazard removal or something like that. It also slows down Scarf Hoopa, which I'm 90% sure he's gonna bring, so that Mega Diancie outspeeds that, and even outspeeds Mega Charizard X after Dragon Dance. Yeah, this is just here to set up webs, Focus Sash, so I can live hit from anything. Intimidate could also be useful for stuff like Breloom, but I also have Quiver Dance so that I can actually do quite a bit of damage if I get to set that up, and Bug Buzz and Air Slash just hit almost everything on his team except for the Empoleon. But yeah, next up we have of course my Mega Diancie. If you look at his team, he just does not have switch-ins to Mega Diancie. The only thing that does not get 2-shot by my attacks is a especially defensive Empoleon, but Earth Power still does a lot to that, and I have another mon on my team that can deal very well with Empoleon. So yeah, I'm running Power Gem over Diamond Storm, just so that I get a guaranteed kill on his Mega Charizard X. And I also don't need to risk Diamond Storm missing and it hits GlitchxScore a little bit harder if he tries to switch in on my power gem. But yeah, last move I put on Rock Polish, just in case I'm unable to get up Sticky Webs early game, and I need that to not get revenge killed by Rebombi or Electrode. So yeah, that's Mega Diancie. Next up we have Magnezone. This is of course here to trap his Empoleon with Magnet Pull, and unless he's like very special defensive, Wakan Berry, Thunderbolt is going to do so much damage to his Empoleon. And I have Air Balloon because Empoleon can learn Earthquake, so I could see him using that, predicting my Magnezone to switch in. But if I have the Air Balloon, I am of course immune to his ground type attacks, so his Empoleon can't really do anything to my Magnezone. So if I'm able to get the Empoleon out of the way, I think Mega Diancie just wins. So that is Magnezone's main job. I'm running max speed, of course, to guaranteed outspeed his Empoleon, and I put on a Timid Nature instead of Modest because then I can outspeed GlitchxScore with no speed investment, which I think is pretty useful, and then I can hit him extremely hard with Hidden Power Ice. And yeah, and last moves I just put on Volt Switch and Flash Cannon for stab and momentum. Next up we have Seismitoad. This is my main check to his Mega Charizard X. Max HP, max defense allows me to take hits from him very well. I believe I can live 3 Flare Blitzes. I can live 2 Dragon Claws after a Dragon Dance, so yeah, I can just very easily switch in on his Charizard, threaten him out with Earth Power, maybe set up Stealth Rocks on the switch, and Stealth Rocks is just very annoying for his Charizard and his Rebombi. And yeah, then I just put on Scald, of course, because it's always useful. Even if it's not doing that much damage, I can still try to get a burn on some of his physical attackers maybe. Then Toxic as the last move, just so that I don't get entirely walled by his Hoopa, for example. Could also be useful for Unaware Clefable, which I am pretty sure he will bring since I have a Salamence on my team. Yeah, that's the Seismitoad. Next up we have got my Salamence, Steelium Sea, Iron Tail, also Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw and Roost. The Corkscrew Crash is of course there for his Clefable, which I believe is almost a guaranteed one-shot if he, or even without the Dragon Dance. So even if he is running Unaware, I can still do a lot of damage to his Clefable. Then Dragon Claw just hits everything Iron Tail doesn't. That's pretty useful. Dragon Dance allows me to outspeed everything on his team. And last move I just put on Roost because I didn't feel like I needed anything else. I could put on Earthquake so that I hit his Empoleon, but I don't think I need that since I have other pretty good answers to Empoleon on my team, like Magnezone and Seismitoad. The Roost just allows me to feel like maybe a more defensive, physically defensive switch into some of his physical attackers, since I have Intimidate. Yeah, and then for last month, originally I had a very weird Starmie set with like Recover, Rapid Spin, Signal Beam, Power Gem, I think, just to be there as a hazard remover with, and could still deal with his powerful Wall Breakers in Hoopa Unbound and Mega Charizard X. But I realized that with the 6 months I had, I just lost to Rebombi if he was like a Quiver Dance set, so I switched out the Starmie last minute for my Broken Heat. This just hits very well from his Rebombi, stops him from sweeping with Quiver Dance, and I also have Defog in case he tries to set up webs, and he also has a lot of other hazard setters on his team, Quillfish gets both spikes and toxic spikes, and he has, I believe, 4 stealth rockers. So defog is very useful. And for my other moves, I put on Overheat, Volt Switch, and Foul Play. Overheat and Volt Switch is of course for damage and stab, and Foul Play I just put on so I can hit Mega Charizard pretty hard if he sets up a Dragon Dance. I believe Foul Play does a little over half after a Dragon Dance, and he still doesn't do that much to me, so Room Heat can also be decent check to his Charizard, while Foul Play also still hits Hoopa very hard if he tries to switch that in on my Rotom. But yeah, that's the team. The 6 months I'm predicting him to bring are probably Hoopa Unbound, Mega Charizard X, Ribombee, Empoleon, Clefable, and probably Gliscor. So yeah, let's jump into the battle and see what he brought. Okay, so Chaz did absolutely not bring what I expected. No Mega Charizard X, no Empoleon, and no Ribombee. That really surprised me and also made me pretty happy, because Mega Charizard X is just so scary. Even though I have a lot of decent counters to it, I'm still really scared of it, and I don't have the best win rate against Mega Charizard X either. And Ribombee just sweeps me once Rotom Heat is dead, so I was also really happy to not see that. Empoleon, it just means that he doesn't have switch-ins to my Mega Diancie, but since I'm not running Diamond Storm, that Kecleon he instead decided to bring does wall me decently well. But yeah, he brought that Kecleon, the Cryogonal, and the Breloom instead of the 3 I thought he would bring. Since he did not bring Mega Charizard X, I decided to lead with my Seismitoad, since I didn't really need to keep it for his Charizard and could instead just use it to get rocks or something like that. He leads with his Cryogonal, which was a great lead by him. I don't know if he predicted my Seismitoad to lead, but Cryogonal gets Freeze Dry, so I of course don't want to take that, so I switch into my Rotom Heat, but he switches out himself into his Gliscor. So that was a pretty nice play by him. Here he also clicks Protect just to probably scout and see what I would go for. I like Overheat just to see if he's like physically or special defensive. He goes into his Clefable, which only takes 34% damage from my Overheat. That shows that he is very specially defensive, so since I'm not running Diamond Storm on Mega Diancie, this is also a pretty good counter to, or check to my Diancie. So I realized bringing Power Gen instead of Diamond Storm was just a big mistake by me. I should have just brought Diamond Storm, but I cannot really do anything to his Clefable here, so I will switch into my Magnezone, which should be able to do quite a lot even though he is special defensive. He goes for a Cosmic Power, so he's probably that Cosmic Power, Magic Guard, Stored Power set, which could be very scary because I don't have a Dark type, so, and I didn't really prepare much for it either, but I have no choice other than just stay and click Flash Cannon again. I don't want to let him set up too much, and unfortunately for him, I do get a special defense drop on that Flash Cannon, because without that special defense drop he would have survived another Flash Cannon and could have just soft boiled and then kept Cosmic Power until I barely do any damage to him, and at that point he probably does quite a bit to me with his stored powers. So that was just very unfortunate for him. He would have been in such a good position if I had not gotten that special defense drop. The game would not have been over because he told me after the game he was actually Moonlight instead of Soft Boiled, so he only had 8 PP on his healing move. So I probably could have stalled out his Moonlights, and I also had my Stellium C on my Salmons, which still would have done a lot since he is not physically defensive. But it was still very unfortunate for him. So I of course stay in here and click another Flash Cannon. but he doesn't want to lose his Clefable yet, so he switches into his Hoop Unbound, which takes that Flash Cannon pretty well, since it's actually pretty special defensive. He clicks Hyperspace Fury while I just Volt Switch out into my Mega Diancie, since if he's Scarfed, he is locked into a Dark type move and I'm not going to take that much from it. And as you can see, he is Scarfed and just stays in and lets me kill his Hoop Unbound. So that was a very good start for me, getting rid of his scariest threat at turn 8. But here he switches into his Kecleon, and to be honest, I am actually not entirely sure what Kecleon does, but I do know that my Mega Diancie can't really hit it that hard, especially if he's Assault Vest, so I switch into my Seismitoad, maybe to set up Stealth Rocks or something. He switches out here into his Gliscor. I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe he was predicting me to go Rotom Heat again, or Magnezone, something like that, but I will take that because that just gives me pretty free rocks. So he switches into his Breloom, and I really didn't expect this Breloom to come, so I don't have any super good answers to it, but I do have my Masquerain, and since his only like really fast offensive threat in Hoop Unbound is already dead, I really don't need Sticky Webs anymore, so I'm not that I'm not that worried about my Masquerain. It's fine if it goes down here, but he does make the very good prediction and clicks Rock Tomb on my Masquerain switch in, which takes me down to my Sash and lowers my speed, so he would outspeed me next turn. So that was a very nice play by him. But I do get the Intimidate drop, so after this next turn he won't do that much damage, and he decides to click Mach Punch instead of another Rock Tomb, which is fine by me. And here he goes, Clefable to take my Overheat, but he cannot live another one, so I just stay in and click Overheat again, and he switches out again into his Gliscor, which still takes quite a bit, which shows that he is a physically defensive Gliscor. So I have no reason not to switch back into my Seismitoad here, since he can't really touch me with anything. He knocks also my leftovers, that's fine. I just click Scald because there's not really any drawbacks to doing that. Maybe I can get a burn on this Cryogonal, which I don't. Here I switch into Rotom Heat to take the Ice Beam or Freeze Dry, but he predicts that and goes for an Ancient Power, which does quite a bit, and I don't know if that was a high roll or a low roll, but there is a chance that he could kill me next turn, so I switched out again, because I don't want to lose my Rotom yet. I go into my Magnezone, since he did not bring Empoleon, this is not that useful either, so I was prepared to just let it go down here to a Hidden Power Ground maybe, but he switches out, which makes me think that maybe he's Choice Scarfed, but that's fine by me because that lets me get off a Flash Cannon, which does a lot of damage to his Gliscor, and since I am max speed, I do outspeed him here and I can just kill him with another Flash Cannon. So Magnezone putting in a lot of work this game. He switches into his Breloom, and since my Masquerain is only at 1%, I have no reason not to just go into this, get the Intimidate drop, and just sack it. And here I go Mega Diancie, since after the -1 attack, I don't take that much from his Mach Punch, and I can just freely go for a Moonblast, killing whatever switches in. And here he again switches into his Kecleon, and I still switch out here because I'm pretty sure Kecleon can learn Iron Tail, but again he also switches into his Breloom, which was a pretty nice play by him, since I don't want to lose my Rotom yet. He clicks Rock Tomb here as I switch into my Magnezone. I don't really need this anymore, so I just sent it in to Psychic, make him take some Life Orb damage. Here I can pretty freely go into my Salamence, get the Intimidate drop, I resist his Mach Punch, and I outspeed, so I have no reason not to go into Salamence, and I can just easily kill him with a Dragon Claw. So I don't think there's any way he can win this game anymore. He switches into his Kecleon, thinking that he can live a hit from me, but I reveal the C move, Stellium C, Corkscrew Crash. I do get a crit. That crit did not matter. So he only has his Cryogonal left, and since he does outspeed me, I do switch out into my Roping Heat here, which he does put me in range for my Wiki Berry. So I do live his Ancient Power, and I can easily take him out with the Overheat, even killing him through his Aqua Berry. So GG to Jazz, we get a 4-0 victory over the Nevada Nidokings. Yeah, that was a pretty good game. Jazz, even though it is a 4-0, Jazz still played very well. He made so many good predictions, especially with his Breloom and his Cryogonal, and he also made a lot of good double switches. But I think the reason I won was because I just had a really good matchup, and he didn't bring some of the mons I was the most worried about. So yeah, that was a good game. Also very unfortunate with the Flash Cannon special defense drop on his Clefable. But yeah, that was a very nice bring by him, that Clefable. So Salmon's picking up 2 more kills, means it has 7 kills in total, so it is back to being our kill leader with 7 kills. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Again, go check out Jazz's YouTube channel, his link is in the description. And next week we are playing against Cyclone, so I hope you are looking forward to that. But until next time, goodbye.